Welcome friends to the video. Hope you are doing really good today wherever you are watching this. And in this video, I'm going to talk about why seeking reassurance isn't actually helping you to recover from your DPDR and from your anxiety, why it isn't really helping you recover, and some other things that you can actually do to actually help you recover. So first of all, what do I actually mean by seeking reassurance? Basically, seeking reassurance is getting external sort of validation that everything is going to be okay. So it might be asking your friends, it might be asking your doctor, it might be asking me, it could be reading comments, it could be writing comments, it could be going into forums and on Facebook and Reddit and everything else, and basically saying, hey, am I going to be okay? You know, is this normal? Is this going to improve? Is all this going to get better? And that's totally normal. I went through that myself when I was doing it. And it would actually make me feel better. I'd be like, oh, cool. You know, I am going to recover and everything is going to be okay. Now, despite that, it never actually helped me recover in the slightest. And when I stopped seeking reassurance and actually took some responsibility for my own recovery, then that's when I started to actually see the results. And that's when I was able to, you know, eventually get out of this awful place, which I know that you are in right now. The first reason why seeking reassurance isn't really helping you at all is because it doesn't actually have any lasting effect. So, you know, right now I could say to you, I promise that you are going to recover. You are going to get better. And you might take that in and be like, oh, that's great. You know, like I know that Dan's helped people. I know that, you know, he's not lying to me. I know that he is going to be telling me the truth. And I am. You know, I am. You are going to recover. But apart from making you feel a little bit better, what is it actually doing? And the answer to that is that in the long term, it's not actually doing anything at all. It's not changing your mindset. It's not figuring out what the actual problem is. And I know the situation is quite new to you right now. So you might think that, yeah, I need reassurance. You know, I need that motivation. I need hope. Hope is not given externally. It's given internally. You have to almost create that hope yourself. And sort of like maybe an easy analogy to think of is to think of a motivational video or a motivational seminar or something. And I've actually had people say this to me, just friends and stuff. They've actually gone to a Tony Robbins, you know, one of his like long weekend sort of three day seminar things. And they're like, yeah, man, it was amazing. I'm so motivated. Like I felt so good. Everyone, like the atmosphere was electric and everything was buzzing and all that. And then a week later, I'm like, hey man, how's it going? And they're just like, oh yeah, you know, like I've got this problem and pretty much, you know, like the energy's sort of worn off a little bit. I do think about doing some of the stuff he said, but you know, I'm just sort of busy with this other stuff now. And there you go. That's the one reason why reassurance doesn't work. It's because all this external motivation, you're like, yeah, let's go. All this external reassurance, you're like, oh, I am going to be better. This is so good. I'm so happy. After a week or a few days, it's going to die off again. And then you're going to seek more reassurance. And then you're going to feel good for a couple of days. And then it's going to die off. And then you're going to seek more reassurance. And then it's going to die off. And then you're going to seek more. And it's going to die off. And I think you know where I'm going with this. And so that's one of the big reasons why seeking reassurance isn't actually really that beneficial for recovery, because it doesn't actually do anything and it doesn't actually last. It doesn't tell you how to think. It doesn't tell you what's actually going wrong with you or what you're finding that's stressing you out so much or what is making you so anxious. All it does is make you feel good for a really, 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 really small amount of time. It wears off, and then as soon as it's worn off, you're back exactly where you were before you got that reassurance in the first place. And the second reason why seeking reassurance doesn't really help you recover, and it's sort of tied a little bit into reason number one, is because it's external. Nothing about it is internal. Because if you had assurance and if you had hope and confidence that you were going to be able to recover, you wouldn't need external validation. You'd be able to tell it yourself. But the fact is that internally you're going, I don't know if I'll be able to recover. I don't know if I'm going to get through this. How can I even recover? So you're not even thinking that you are going to be able to recover. So that external thing is good to you because somebody's telling you that you are going to be able to do this. So what you really need to do is you need to build that internal confidence, and that internal confidence comes about through doing action. Action or motion creates emotion. And so, more positive actions is going to create more positive emotions, which essentially is going to make you feel better. And that internally is going to be that internal fire that you need and not that external fire. And the great thing about the internal fire is that it's so much more powerful, it's so much more relevant, and it lasts so much longer, almost to the point of when you have gone through your recovery journey and you have recovered. And I know that this is a little bit of validation that you will get better. It can last for years and years and years and years and years. Once you've built that fire and once you've got that confidence, then a lot of other stuff just hits you and it bounces right off you because you've already got the tools, you've already got the talent, you've already got the experience, and you've already worked hard to get your recovery happening and to have recovered. So all the little things that used to bother you, all the thoughts that you used to have, all the little things that you used to magnify so much, now you just look at it and go, what was I thinking? That used to bother me. I used to get scared about that. What was I thinking? I mean, of course I was so, kind of trapped in my house, or of course I was having all these crazy thoughts because my mind was just in that state at that time. But your mind, once it's out of that state, then none of that stuff bothers you anymore. So what I recommend for you is to really do your best to stop getting that external validation, because it's not going to actually help you recover. And even if you do feel better, it's not going to last. And I've already gone over the reasons why that is, and you've probably experienced that yourself. Otherwise, you wouldn't keep seeking validation. If it lasted, you wouldn't keep seeking it. So what can you do? What can you do to recover? Well, one of the best things you can do is really think about what is making you anxious, what's making you so stressed, what is actually going on here, which is keeping your body in a state that it thinks it's under attack, or that it thinks it has to have the alarm bell switched on all the time. And there's a lot of ways you can do this. You can do it by journaling. You can do it by, reading about self-help and self-development and self-reflection and being emotionally intelligent, and just sort of all these things. I mean, any coaching book is going to be able to tell you this stuff. Any NLP book, any CBT book is going to help you along with all of this stuff. So it's totally possible to do it by yourself. A lot of people have, and even all these videos that I do, like the answers to your recovery is in all of these videos. But it might take a little bit more than that as well. And some people, they might not know what's wrong. They might not know where to start. And that's where talking to somebody is really going to help. So you can think about who professionally can you talk to, and they are going to be able to help you. And if you do go to a therapist or a counselor, I really urge you not to talk about the symptoms, because the symptoms are a symptom of an underlying thing, which is the anxiety or the stress. So talk about the anxiety or the stress. Don't say, oh, I feel completely spaced out, what do I do about it? Because they're going to look at you and go, what are you talking about? But if you say, oh, I feel really, really anxious about this, and this, then they'll be like, okay, well, this is something that we can actually help you with. And that's what I do as well. Like when I'm doing one-on-one coaching with people, very, 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 almost non-existent, very infrequently, we actually talk about the symptoms themselves, because they're there. We already know they're there. We don't have to talk about them. What we talk about is what's going on in your life, and I've had this so many times where people say to me, Dan, I had no idea that the conversation was going to go this way. And I never know either, like we sort of might start with a problem, we think it's here, and we end up way over here, and we've actually realized that this is one of the issues, which is causing an issue, is causing all of that. But it happens through talking. So my friends, I really hope that this video has helped you, and I hope that it's shifted your mindset a little bit, or even opened the door of curiosity about, what happens if I actually consider trying the stuff that Dan is talking about? you know, I think you're going to see positive results when you do that. So my friends, you all have an amazing day, and until next time, I will see you all in the next video. Bye.